stakes are high and needs are more complex when running an established consumer products brand. You've got mounting pressures across multi-channel sales, complex supply chains, inventory across multiple warehouses, and leadership needs fast, accurate data to make decisions. That's why leading brands partner with Baker Tilly, an accounting firm that specializes in the consumer product space. Their team understands the unique challenges of scaling product-based businesses, whether it's navigating transactions confidently, sales tax compliance, integrating ERP systems like NetSuite, or predictive analytics. Baker Tilly delivers. Discover how Baker Tilly's industry-focused services can help elevate your business. Visit bakertilly.com.
I like to start with a little trivia, though. Does anybody know, first hand up, what the E stands for? Chuck E. Cheese.
Child Entertainment Cheese.
Yes, sir. There you go. Okay, the founder of Chuck E. Cheese in 1977, his name was Nolan Bushnell. He started Chuck E. Cheese. What other famous company did? Oh my God. That was an easy one. Okay, thank you for the introduction. And it's great because a lot of you I met earlier this morning, you can't say Chuck E. Cheese without smiling. And last night I was having dinner, and thank you for the warm welcome here in Utah as well. You know, I sat across from someone, and I had this jacket on, and he looked at me and says, Chuck E. Cheese still in business? You know, and it's amazing how many times I get that question. But let me give you an introduction, and what the heck am I doing at a retail conference, right? And I wanted to think about is like, how do we reposition Chuck E. Cheese for retail licensing? You know, there's another little mouse that does this pretty well out of Orlando, out of California as well. So, great introduction, but here's my point of view. I started at SeaWorld, as you mentioned. I moved to Sesame Place, and I worked on all Sesame Street characters. I launched Zoe and Elmo, and worked with Big Bird and Bert and Ernie and all the characters that we all grew up in. These are major media properties. And I really understood the power of the intellectual property, especially for the preschool market. But I had moved on from that. But on my tights and capes, I moved to DC Comics. I spent 10 years there working on Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman through the various divisions of whether it was comic books, whether it was the media properties, whether it was the movies, animation. And that helped set my mindset. We were also the licensor of the superheroes through the Six Flags theme parks. And I had the opportunity to work at Six Flags in every single division over 13 years. And my last role there was president of International. So I was building these billion-dollar theme parks over in Saudi Arabia. In fact, Six Flags Qiddiya should be opening here in the next 60 days. It's a spectacular park and the first theme park in the kingdom. But then I get a call in 2019. Let me reference this more. So this will really make a lot of sense here in just a moment. My reference point was all about Batman. And Batman had such a wide breadth of fan base. And it could be animation for little kids. It could be the comic books for teenagers. It could be those dark movies that came out that was more for adults. And, I thought about that because when I got the call about Chuck E. Cheese, I thought about the same thing. There's a current Chuck E. Cheese for the 5-year-old that absolutely loves. But then there's those of us in the room who were growing up in the 80s and 90s. You remember, skater Chuck E. Cheese, and then, of course, the original Chuck E. Cheese that started in 1977. So it had this incredible length of almost 50 years of entertaining kids. And now from current all the way to vintage, there's got to be an opportunity to maximize this incredible intellectual property. So I got the call in 2019. It was November. And as I mentioned, I was building these big theme parks around the world. And I got a call from the head on it. They said, would be interested in the gig over at CEC Entertainment. I didn't know what CEC was. So they said, Chuck E. Cheese. And I said, I don't think that's my job, right? And I said, but you know what? I'll take a look. And so I went down in Grapevine, Texas, and I walked into Chuck E. Cheese. And it was a restaurant with games and a band. And that band had the animatronics. The animatronics were all broken, and the eyeballs were falling out, and the arms weren't moving correctly. And it was fun for the legacy of the parents, but the kids didn't resonate whatsoever. They're consuming entertainment just as the presentation before me in bite-sized entertainment. And that's not what Chuck E. Cheese is about. No kid is going to go today and sit down and watch an animatronic show for 20 minutes while all these great games are going on right behind them. The truth is, 2019, when I walked into Chuck E. Cheese, it was dark, it was dirty, pizza wasn't great, bathrooms weren't clean, the animatronics were broken, there was rumors of recycling pizza. I don't know if you ever heard of that one, right? And fights at Chuck E. Cheese. It was just, it had $1.1 billion in debt. But then here was that moment. The moment was the countdown. I was ready to walk out. It was Saturday, it was a birthday party. And if you've been to Chuck E. Cheese during a Saturday, it's craziness. There's kids running everywhere, moms going nuts. It's really quite a hectic experience. And I was like, this isn't for me. So I'm walking out, and then they said, and the countdown to Chuck E. Cheese over the loudspeaker. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 3, 2, 1. And then Chuck E. Cheese comes out. And I'm telling you, it's like a Taylor Swift concert. These little kids are losing their minds. You got those in the diapers who are basically controlling themselves. They're falling on the floor. They're screaming and yelling. And Chuck E. Cheese. I've never seen anything like this. I'm talking about, I've worked with Looney Tunes. I've worked with Superman and Batman. I've worked with Sesame Street. I have never seen the excitement from kids unless Chuck E. Cheese comes out. And I'm like, this is special. There's something we can do something here. So we got to update the brand. We got to reposition the brand. And we need to be that entertainment destination that has the greatest character, but we're the treat down the street. Right? Any family can save up and go to Orlando or go down to Southern California and go to Disney. But we have accessibility where on Wednesday, eat your green beans, young man, and I'll take your Chuck E. Cheese on set. And that is incredible power. And you may not realize this, but we have nearly 700 locations. But the brand was broken. But today, folks, it's completely fixed. Every single location has now been upgraded through the eyes of a 5-year-old. When we go into a restaurant, our management team, we get on our knees because that's the viewpoint of a 5-year-old. Our games are lower because the kids are small. We cut pizza in smaller slices for little hands. We took out the animatronics. There are a lot of people angry at me. Some of the fan base is old, but just have to move on. But we changed. Floor to ceiling jumbotrons, digital dance floors, all new games, quick play, quick entertainment, live character program. Chucky comes out every half hour or every hour and a half hour. We signed a deal with Kids Bop, so we've got all the best music. It's not just Chuck E. Cheese content, but it's all the relevant music, but there's no F-bombs. It is a safe place for kids to come in with their parents and just have that great moment. And that's something special. We upgraded the menu. We offered an adult menu called the grown-up menu. We're a little bit more sophisticated of a taste palette. But the reality of it is 92% of our pizzas are cheese and pepperoni. That's what kids eat, right? So we really had to understand who we are. We weren't a restaurant. We're the 10th largest pizzeria in the world. We're not in the restaurant business, folks. We are in the entertainment business. So we leaned in hard. And every aspect that we have is all about the celebration of kids' entertainment. What happened during COVID was transformational. Parents didn't want to take their kids to Chuck E. Cheese anymore just to play arcade games, especially for those in the north who didn't have the opportunity to get out of school because they were closed down for a year and a half. We were closed down for almost a year and a half. There's no way parents are going to have kids come and just play arcade games. They want active play. We put in little trampolines, which was a safe place versus the big trampoline parks. They're not getting run over by the teenagers. Then we put in Chuck E. Cheese Superhero Playground, which was a big ninja course. It was great. So now you go in, we've got the live entertainment, we've got the new games, we've got active play. Folks, we're now a theme park in us. And we have completely changed the brand. We're all over the world. This is one of our locations in Saudi Arabia. We have 26 locations in the kingdom. It's fabulous. But these are mammoth. Rock walls, trampoline parks, 40,000 square feet. They're absolutely spectacular. So now what we've transformed is we've taken our legacy, combined it with the current Chuck E. Cheese, so we truly are an American icon. We're in almost every state. We see over 30 million, including our franchisees internationally, close to 40 million people that come through our doors every single year. From a global perspective, we've got nearly 80 locations. We're in 17 countries. We opened up in Perth, Australia last Saturday, and we're getting ready to announce a 20-store deal in Turkey. I was in Istanbul for a signing. So we're growing globally, and we've got incredible diversity, and we've got young families. And that is really the sweet spot of who is shopping, who is looking for pajamas, who's buying every type of retail, item, whether it's toys or books or active play, all these things. We've got this beautiful family set of young families. So we've got all the games. Ready for this? We have 2 billion gameplays every single year. We're the largest arcade in the world. So the brand now is in great shape. And if you look at this, YouTube is such an important part. We're growing now. We're just starting our content. We have nearly 1 billion impressions on YouTube. And I'm really proud to say that our Q score is as high as some of the other major properties that you're seeing when you go through Walmart, when you go through Target, when you go through any type of toy store, and you're seeing all these toys and apparel products. We're right there in terms of the strength of this intellectual property. We just didn't unlock it. The company didn't realize what an incredible asset Chuck E. Cheese is. But not only for little kids today who enjoy the brand, but all of us who have seen vintage and retro merchandise and new arcades. In fact, we've opened up Chuck's Arcade. We've just opened up one in Brea, which is in Orange County, California. And that's a throwback vintage arcade. So with games like Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, things like that. So we can go in there. It doesn't serve food. We have one that serves food only in Kansas City. But it's really just it's a retro arcade. It's working really well. So we're now a 360-degree entertainment brand. And we've got our FECs. That's what we're known for. We've got our live events. We took our characters out on the road. And we did choreographed concerts. And thousands of people were showing up. That Chuck E. Cheese and the Munch's Make-Believe Band, which was the animatronics, it was all about original music. So now we're out. And we're either at the Santa Monica Pier or we're renting out locations, and thousands of people are showing up just to see Chuck E. Cheese. It's not about staying in the 4 walls; it's about staying the brand outside the 4 walls. From a digital perspective, we've got games. We talked about video, music. We're streaming. We just 2 weeks ago dropped 2 new albums, one in Arabic and one in Spanish. So we're really embracing our global footprint as well, and welcoming every child to enjoy Chuck E. Cheese entertainment. We have great content partnerships, I mentioned before, and then we started getting into licensed entertainment. And we started with Hendrick Motorsports, which is Jeff Gordon's. He's got Ford, the 5.9, 2448 cars, if anybody's a NASCAR fan. But we went to them, and this wasn't a paid deal. We went to them because NASCAR's struggling to bring in our audience, young, diverse families. They need us. So we didn't go there to stroke a check to get a car painted. We said, let's create a collaborative partnership to introduce NASCAR or racing, because we did it with the team, not the league, to a new generation of kids. And they loved it. And we created a fantasy car, we created a content proposition that's now on all the streaming areas. We did sweepstakes, promotions, we brought kids in, we did it. They win, you win. And that's what having people now watch a NASCAR race to see if one of their drivers win. And if they did, we'll send you 500 e-tickets. You go use that weekend Chuck E. Cheese. So we signed a deal with Harlem Globetrotters, with Pinata Smashlings, which is on Roblox. And then we started expanding the way we think about the brand. And we signed a deal with Calabunga Water Park, which is the new water park that's going to be reimagined in Sacramento, California. The family section is going to be all themed with Chuck E. Cheese. So really, really exciting on what we're doing with the brand. But we couldn't do any of this until we fixed the brand. Because your brand is just a promise. And if we promise that we're going to be then we go to Chuck E. Cheese. Pizza's all good, and canes are broken. We just lied to you. So we had to make sure that our core business was set first, and then we can start extending outside the 4 walls. And of course, we've got the most lovable characters. Chuck E. Cheese is as cute as he's ever been. We've introduced new characters like Bella, who's our Hispanic bunny. She speaks Spanish. She's wonderful, but it helps us bring in inclusivity to all of our content, especially we have such great penetration to the Hispanic market. And then new, we just announced this. We have a 2D animated holiday movie coming out this year. And we're just signing our distribution partners right now. And I have pitched this personally. I don't care about selling one piece of pizza. This is all about entertainment. And when we were working with the writers and producers, they wanted to put Chuck E. Cheese in the special, the actual restaurant. And I said, no, don't do it. This is all about entertainment. And if it feels like a commercial, it smells like a commercial, it's a commercial. So there's nothing about this that has to do with the restaurant. This is all about Chuck E. Cheese, and of course Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus and everybody else. So it is a wonderful story. It's 45-minute animation. We're signing distribution now. We'll start sending this out in short form content. We'll have the long form content coming out in December. So we're really excited about this. The holy grail is to get a feature movie with Chuck E. Cheese. That's when we take off, right? So we're really excited about that. So this is a retail conference. So how does retail play into this? And Jeremy shares the same vision. But we looked at where is the brand fit for us to naturally step outside our four walls and develop retail products that are going to be successful for our retailers, of course, have consumer demand. So we look at food, of course, games, music, active play, birthdays, entertainment, and the fun memories. All of those things, we look now a subset of what products fit each one of these categories. And we're starting to have success. We're going slow, but the first place to go naturally is pizza. So we signed a deal. We're now selling this at Walmart. We got frozen pizza. The next place, next natural place is treats, right? Because we're all about fun. And we worked with, for those of you that live on the West Coast, Thrifty. They went through bankruptcy with Rite Aid, but they sold off. But they were a very well-known ice cream brand in California, and we signed a deal with them for a proprietary flavor of birthday celebration. And it was great. And it came under their top 3 selling SKUs. So we're really excited about this. And then we'll find a new home for national distribution at that. But that was a great test for us to have us at retail. The second is toys and games. And so we are talking to the toy companies right now in development. But the conversation originally goes, oh, let's do just a pizza set. But we're about music, we're about play, we're about fun, we're about characters, we're about games. So we have to really make sure that we are working with our partners to have that same vision at the retail level. Because I just don't want to go out and just be a pizza brand. So that's not what we are. But we've got a couple of these selling into Walmart and Target right now. From an apparel perspective, now this is the most fun, probably most exciting, because the apparel, we can go from 6 to 60. And whether it's the throwback hockey jerseys to, if anybody's familiar, if you're any sneakerheads in here, Bull Airs, anybody familiar with that brand? They drop only 100 of these. And we did one with Chucky, and then we did one with Munch. It's spectacular. The blue shirts being sold at Kohl's. We're at Five Below. And this has great opportunities for selling our current, our retro. So that's like 80s, 90s, and then on the 70s, vintage. And we're seeing, everything from Spencer to the big box. We can create products, which was really, really exciting here. Well, what's next? This is where we get really excited, is envisioning with our partners of what we can do next. The one in the middle is I gotta find a partner. Chucky macaroni and cheese. Right? How perfect would that be? Then you look at the play areas for the backyards. There's no reason why that could be a Chuck E. Cheese expression. Karaoke machines, because we're all about music. A celebration line of cards, and balloons, and candles, and cakes, and all those great things. We should absolutely be able to do that at home as well as at Chuck E. Cheese. And then, my dream when I'm on my town halls with my team is I want every 5-year-old to fall asleep in a Chuck E. Cheese pajamas. Wake up, have Chuck E. Cheese cereal, and be able to say that they go to Treat Down Street on that week. So that's really the vision. That's what we're going after right now. And we've got Brett, though. I mean, when you're looking at 2-3-year-olds, toddler pull-ups, they're tied in with Mickey and Star Wars right now. There's no reason why this can't be Chuck E. Cheese. So we are really, really excited. This is the infancy of where this brand is going to be. And if you look at the major other kids' intellectual properties and successful they have done in retail, there is no reason why we can't be as successful as well. 40 million people visit Chuck E. Cheese every single year, and they're having a great time. Our guest satisfaction scores are the highest level we've ever had, and the awareness levels now of Chuck E. Cheese online are at the highest level. The 2 new franchisees that we signed in Australia and Turkey found out about Chuck E. Cheese from their kids watching on YouTube. That's how important content is on YouTube. So I'll end there, see if anybody has any questions. But thank you. That's the next vision of Chuck E. Cheese. You've won.
These might be too granular, but what are your plans in locations?
Yeah, so we just opened up in Ogden, Riverdale area about a year ago. We've got our location here that's getting ready to get the superhero playground in the next 2 weeks, and we are looking at south. And then, since we're all friends here, maybe at lunch and going up to Park City to scout a Chuck's Arcade location near the mountain, which we really say.
And is the Cowabunga water park connected to the one that we have? There's a Cowabunga Bay. Is that a different brand?
Different brand.
Okay. Your Chuck E. Cheese here used to be right next to.
Did your culture have to change along with your brand, or was it kind of at the same time? You have to change the culture of the people at Chuck E. Cheese.
Yes, 100%.
More janitor.
When I walked in the door at Chuck E. Cheese, it was almost an embarrassment to see work. In my first town hall, I put the logos of Disney, Lego, Nickelodeon, of all the great kids' properties, and I put it right in the middle. And I said, folks, this is where we belong. When we were close to the position we started, we didn't get it. Like, no one wanted to work market for Chuck E. Cheese. It was basically a dead brand. And now, we get hundreds of applications, people on the workforce, but there would have had to be a major culture change. And ultimately, that rested upon me to say, look, here's where we're going to go. The moon, and who wants to go wins? And, I had to make some changes on the senior management level. We kept our ops folks, so I changed just about everybody else. But everybody's bought in now, and we're all heading the same direction. And it's really exciting. When you start racking up a couple of those wins, and people start seeing the brand in a new light, people get excited about it. So it's certainly a new day at Chuck.
How long would you say before you got traction with that culture change?
Well, I started in January 2020. 6 weeks later, I closed the place for COVID.
Yeah.
3 months later, I had to file for bankruptcy. So the first 18 months, almost 2 years, there was no movement. And that's when we had to step back, though, reload, and raise $650 million in bonds, and convince the board to say, look, we need a major remodel to this brand, or we're never going to grow. So it took almost 2 years of planning, and then we started looking at the remodels, and the excitement from the employees and the consumers when we started remodeling Chuck E. Cheese was amazing. And that just caught on fire. And in 3 years, we remodeled 460 locations. So it was the largest brand transformation, literally global. And now everybody's bought in because they're excited about it. It's sad, and our turnover is down less than 17% general manager turnover. That is almost 20 points less than the next restaurant operating. So if you got the team that can carry the message, they'll make sure your guests are happy, and just it all starts cycling through. So great question. Yes.
What percentage would you say is the product and licensing aspect of your total business?
It's less than 2%. We're only $5 million right now. Very, very small. So the opportunity is, we got to pick the right partners. We got to make sure that when we present it, it's great quality. It meets meets kids' expectations. But the reality of it is, when we sit with Target, Walmart, Costco, everybody, they're like, "Where's the movie? Where are you on air? Where are you in the top 25 kids properties?" And that's where we have to continue to. So it's a little bit of air support and ground support.
We have time for one last question,
Yeah.
Jay.
You mentioned you were $1 billion in debt when you first walked in. You raised 650 in bonds. How has this transition impacted your bottom line? And do you see a path to profitability? Are you profitable now? I mean, this is a major, major shift.
Yeah.
Like big risk. So how is this?
So, I'll answer this quickly. So we were 1.1 billion in debt when I got to the company. We shed 675 million in bankruptcy. So we had a really strong balance sheet. Then when we raised the bonds, it was when very low interest rates. So it was great. We took that money, deployed that capital to transform the company, but it resulted in financial performance as well. We're now at 1.2 billion in enterprise sales. We have a four-wall EBITDA margin of 28% and a company margin of 20%. So we have meaningful EBITDA. We have great flow through, and right now we're just we'll refinance our notes because they're coming due. But we are now above pre-COVID levels in terms of total revenue and just off that on EBITDA. Thank you.
In the fast paced world of retail, technology can be a transformative force, reshaping the way businesses operate and consumers shop. Is your retail organization leveraging technology to its top capabilities? Evolving your technology capabilities can help enhance visibility into your business, decrease risk of increasing cybersecurity incidents, accelerate productivity with artificial intelligence, and more. Deeply immersed in the consumer products industry, Baker Tilly professionals bring customized solutions that can help you find the right technology fit. Visit bakertilly.com to learn more.